Hi guys, it's Shar. I'm back with a 5 under 5 project. I've got 5 unique and easy decoupage projects. Let's get crafting. For this project, I started with a frame from Dollar Tree. I used some twine, leaf cutouts from Dollar Tree, burlap, and this tissue paper I believe I ordered on Temu. I'm going to paint my frame with some mineral chalk paint. I did remove that together wood cutout. I'll use that on a different project if I needed to. I didn't ruin it too bad. I just want a nice blank flat canvas to put my tissue paper on. I did iron my tissue paper just a little bit to make sure it was nice and flat. I put a layer of Mod Podge down on the front of my frame. Once that was dry, I could put my tissue paper down. I use a little parchment paper just to protect my heat press, and then I can heat press. It will activate that Mod Podge and adhere it to my frame. This is the best way to get a nice, flat, even decoupage. And it's easy to do with this frame. I snipped a few diagonal cuts on the corner so that I could lay the tissue paper down nice and flat. Once I have the tissue paper adhered, I can go back and clean off all that excess tissue. I snipped a lot of it away with my scissors, and the rest I'm going to clean up with an emery board or a piece of sandpaper. Mod Podge down on the back of my insert from my frame, covered it in a little burlap. Now these leaves were from the laser cut wood leaf tags that they have. They come 3 to a package, and I'm going to use all 3. The front one I'm going to paint with some green moss paint, and then I glued them all together. I just wanted it to have a lot of dimension for my frame. I glued that to the middle of the frame back. Because I'm using this sideways, there's some extra width on one side, so I put a little twine around it. Let me know what you think. For this project, I have a pack of floral napkins I believe I purchased on Temu as well, and this cat figurine from Dollar Tree. They had a cat, a dog, a llama, and an elephant. And I am going to decoupage and make this cat very pretty. I want just the flowers out of this napkin pattern, so I'm going to go around them with a little bit of water on my paintbrush, and this allows me to rip that napkin away. I don't want to cut it because I don't want straight, sharp edges. So I went through and just took a whole bunch of flowers off my napkin. Now I'm going to kind of tear away some of the white edging that I left on some of those flowers. They'd be fine for a bottom layer since the back of my cat is white. However, as I start to layer it up, I don't want white on top of other flowers I put beneath it. This cat does have angles, but it's not too hard to decoupage on it. I'm going to lay a piece down. I had to choose which flower I wanted. I'm going to get it started, and then I'm just going to snip a line to allow me to lay this napkin flat. Even if it wraps around and wraps over, it's fine. With this design, you're not going to notice that it's doubled over. Put a very healthy amount of Mod Podge on the top of it. I want it to really stay down. The face, I didn't want it to look like a mask, so it did take a minute to find what flowers I wanted to put. I used Obviously, the smaller flowers in the more intricate areas. But I just kept adding little pieces here and there. I noticed like around the ears where it was getting even more difficult, I would use a larger piece, lay most of it down. The best thing to do is let the Mod Podge dry and then rip away the extra. I didn't wait too long, so I kind of tried to, tear it away as it was still wet. That can leave still some white around the edges. You can pull away too much. So it's better to be patient and wait, but I just wasn't patient. I just kept going back in and filling it in with pieces until my cat looked like this. And in the large areas, you can really tell they're flowers. So I think she came out very pretty. Let me know what you guys think of this one. This video is part of the 5 under $5 challenge, where thrifty crafters bring you 5 projects, and they all cost under $5 to make. This challenge happens on the 5th of every month, and it's hosted by Emily at Farm Charm Chic. And this month's guest host is Buffy at Buffy Designs. And these ladies, I tell you what, Emily never fails to produce fantastic farmhouse projects, and Buffy is a thrift shopper to heart. She makes all kinds of thrift flip videos, and you have to check out these ladies' channels. They're awesome. Also, click that link in the description for the playlist and get a ton more inexpensive and creative project ideas. Let's get back to crafting. Now for this project, I'm going to use that second layer or back of the napkins because I just want to use this decoupage napkin for texture. I'm just adding texture using decoupage. So I'm going to add a good healthy coat to my candlestick holder. And I am fine with as many wrinkles as possible. I want to lay it down, and it's the texture I'm going for, so the messier, the better. I just rip pieces. I'm not worried about it. I'm just adding it in. I'm really going to the creases because I still want the shape of my candlestick to be the same. I just want to add texture on top of it. This is how it came out after having one layer. However, I decided I wanted even more texture, so here is 2 layers. And it's okay that the napkin still has some of the dye from the pattern piece that was still on it because I'm going to paint this. In fact, I'm going to paint it using the mineral chalk paste. Chalk paint, not paste. I have that all painted with the mineral. I got into all the cracks and crevices and gave a good solid coat with the mineral paint. Now I'm dry brushing. I don't have a dark gray. I believe it's Elephant. I don't have a dark gray chalk paint. I'm just using an acrylic paint. I do not remember the name of the color. It's just a darker gray. I just wanted to use a darker color than the mineral that I put on. For the final layer of paint, I'm putting on some French linen. I started to dry brush it on, and then it was better when I stippled. So I'm just going to dry brush, pick up a little bit of that paint with my larger chippy brush and just kind of pounce and stipple that on. To me, that makes it look a lot like concrete. I used some solid adhesive and a little bit of glue gun and put a candle cup on the top of it, and that will make this look a bit like a little lantern or lamp. I can put a succulent in it. I can put a candle in it. It's just a cute little piece. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Now for this project, I grabbed a flower from the garden department at Dollar Tree, a chalkboard, a little bit more of the burlap, and some gift wrap tissue paper. I'm going to stain the frame of my chalkboard to begin with because I want it to be a little bit darker brown. I took apart the metal flower, and on the blue and the white, I'm going to paint it with cashew chalk paint. That will give me a lighter platform to decoupage over. I believe I did 2 coats of the cashew color. I also wanted to paint and take some of the black away, well, all of the black away on the chalkboard. So I put a couple of coats of cashew paint as well. After that was dry on my flowers, I also grabbed a little wooden half bead. On the one flower I left white, the middle flower, I want it to be gold. I had this Inca gold paste. I believe I bought it at Hobby Lobby ages ago. You can use Rub and Buff. You can use just a metallic acrylic paint, whatever you have, but this kind of gave it a really neat sheen. I had to rub it on and then go back and do another layer or so afterward. I also used that on my wooden half bead. That just took one layer. The wood took the paste really well. My fan's on. It's blowing my tissue around. I want to decoupage those flowers that I did lighten. So I'm using my tissue paper on the large flower for the back. I think I did half of it with some Mod Podge and then really pushed that tissue in and then went and did the other half. But I think you can do the whole thing at the same time. It's fine. I wanted it to really get in those creases because I still wanted to have the dimension from the flowers. Afterward, I went in and trimmed around to get rid of a lot of the tissue, but I'm going to use the emery board to clean up those edges really well. This took some time, but I got it done. I want to put a little bit of burlap on the back of my chalkboard. I cut it a little large because I want to fray the edges. So I'm going to put a layer of Mod Podge down, glue the middle of my burlap down to that frame. I kind of go in with something to push this into the edges of the frame. And then I pull layers out until I have it where I want. I did trim that fringe down just a little bit, but it left a nice ragged edge on all the sides of this burlap. Now I'm going to assemble it, and I have to decide, do I want to put it back exactly how it was, where they were all lined up and it was more of a thinner flower, which is cool. But I think I'm going to offset them so you can see them a little bit more. So I offset the gold onto the back one, and I offset the front flower. I do want some dimension in between each layer and on the back of the flower to stand off the frame. So I grabbed these furniture protector dots that you can get at Dollar Tree. I had some thicker, like rubbery ones, and then I had felt that were a little bit thinner. And I just decided how much dimension I wanted in between each layer. I put a little bit of moss on the front and popped my wood round or half bead on the top, and then glued my flower to the frame. And it came out kind of neat. You can really see the shimmer in this Inca Gold paste. You can really see it shimmer very well. Let me know what you guys think of this one. I grabbed this lantern from the plus section in Dollar Tree. They had it in this size. This is a $3. They also had a large $5 one. It looked exactly the same. Because I'm going to decoupage this, I did paint it white. And I know it was really cute in black. I do agree. But I need the background to be lighter colored. So I used the front as a pattern to cut my piece. But I'm going to decoupage the inside of this lantern. So I added some Mod Podge into the inside, and then I laid my piece down. And I tried to lay it down starting at the bottom so that I can kind of get it even. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can overlap just a little bit on the sides because you're not going to notice. And then I put a layer of Mod Podge to help stick it down. For the sides, I didn't want to just try and cut strips, and I figured that would just really be a mess. So I used the outside again as a pattern just to make sure I had enough to cover the sides. I laid some Mod Podge down, and then I laid the whole sheet in there and just made sure that it was not wrinkling too much on the sides. I'll be able to cut away that extra, no worries. And I just went around the top and kind of did some little snips so that I could go around the arch on it. You see me here kind of trying to cut very close. I don't need to. I'm going to go back with that emery board and file away those extra. So I just wanted to cut into the corners. Now, as I'm filing from the inside out. So I'm just rubbing that tissue from the decoupage side toward the outside. It looks like I'm going back and forth, but I'm not. I'm just rubbing it along one way. That gives me a good clean edge. That also distresses the edges around the lantern a little bit, which I wanted. So that's okay. You can go back and touch it up if that's not what you want. But I liked that distress on the edges that I got from the filing. In fact, I think I went back through and filed even extra. I did put a good coat of Mod Podge on the inside. Now, keep in mind, you're not going to want to light a candle in here. You can put a candle in for decoration, but you're not going to want to light a candle in there. Use a faux candle or a solar lantern. This is where I went back in and distressed those edges a bit more. I painted the top to look like a wood knob with a little bit of antique wax and wiped a lot of it away. And now I'm going to add some extra distress look to the edges by adding some antique wax and then with a dry brush, kind of brushing a lot of it away. I added my hook back into the top and I scratched my paint job on the top. I had to go back in and fix it, but it was easy. And that's how this one came out. Let me know what you guys think of this lantern. I hope you guys really enjoyed these projects. I loved making them for you. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button, the thumbs up, and consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to have you as part of the Crafty family. Have a great day.